We continue our discussion on the royal wedding. I'm joined in studio by Quiteria Kekana, our perfect wedding producer, Kopano, Gelman, presenter Kayise Ngqula, and comedian Altaaf Sayed. Before we enter the break, Kopano, you raised an important issue of why we care about royal weddings. I'll leave this one for you, Alta.
It's a bit weird, right? Because if you think about it, royal weddings is like this big fanfare. If we did that in South Africa, it would be like Jacob Zuma's 20-whatever wife, right? We'd have celebrations like this every week because of our culture and stuff like that. And there's a point around people going on about her being divorced. And I think as South Africans, we could relate to her because being divorced is kind of like living in South Africa post-apartheid because you're free, but you still live with the post-traumatic stress, you know what I mean? So, so...
way to politicize it, well done. Way to take the romance out.
When you talk about the traditional aspect of it, do you think it's a matter of us not appreciating what we have because we live with it so much and we get so excited about the white wedding part of the wedding? Because you'll find in South Africa, you'll have two weddings, the traditional wedding and you've got a white wedding. Why?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily know why, but I think...
But from the people that you design your dresses for, if you do wedding dresses, I mean, what's the fascination with this whole white wedding dress?
Because we've been sold the concept of a white dress, you know, we're so fixated with the idea of it has to be perfect if it's only white. If it's white, it's perfect. You know, if it's tradition, I'm going to do it for my parents just to get it out of the way. Do you know what I mean? So we don't take pride with ourselves as Africans to say, I can create, you know, membeso, right? Is a membeso in, you know, traditional, you know, wedding and make it big and make it that much, you know, classy and clean and elegant. Do you know what I mean? So I think the idea is this is what they're selling. So young kids today are watching and all they want is to aspire to that. But if they see, you know, Istwaba and all of those things, they just, it doesn't relate to them.
Because, you know, like you said, we're being sold their culture.
You
know, I wish we could celebrate our culture. And we had a wedding on our perfect wedding about 2 weeks ago where the couple just did the traditional wedding and it was enough. It was enough content for people to watch. It was appreciated, and all the elements that go into just the traditional wedding were appreciated just as much as I suppose this would be appreciated.
And so, just to add on that, the obsession with rings as well, you know? It's like people are so obsessed with the diamond, how big it is, but forgetting that actually what matters the most, it's marriage. You have to live through your life with this person, you know? The diamond can be there and it can be actually rough back at home.
You have the wedding and then you have the actual marriage. That is like real life now.
You know, the issue of the white dress, and we were just talking about Princess Diana, right? Because we all, I think, as young girls, have this idea that one day I'll be the belle of the ball. Everyone will be looking at me on this day. And I think people need to separate wedding with marriage, big time. Because to want to be a beautiful woman in a white dress for everyone to look at, and to want to be with someone for the rest of your life are two different things. And the white dress kind of symbolizes princess. We all want to, you know what I mean? And I think that's why we're still stuck on we have to have a white dress. And you're right, why do we have to have a white dress?
Kopano, I want to talk about the financial aspect because there's a lot that's been said about the financial aspect of this wedding and ordinary taxpayers having to carry some of the burden. But when you bring it back home and you have two weddings, a traditional wedding and you have a white wedding, that can stretch your budget quite a bit. Tell us about some of those frustrations where it's like,
you know what?
We were alcohol. What is
the whole area? We were talking about a wedding where we actually had the couple kind of want to shy away from the cameras because they couldn't pay for the venue. You know, things like that happen, and it's all about the pressure. Everything's got to be perfect. Everything's got to be of a certain standard, you know. And quite really, all those people are never going to be there after that day, you know. They're going to be there for the festivities of that day. And chances are, you probably don't even know half of the people there.
This fascination of letting everybody in on the wedding and everything, and you're going to my perfect wedding. Not that it's not it shouldn't be a thing that you do. If you want to, hey, do you. But this whole idea of letting everybody in on how you're living and let them see who you are. What do you make of that?
That's the world we live in, though. We live in a very social world where we need to put ourselves out there so that we can get validation and status and that sort of thing. And that's how just inherent human nature. I just think it's a bit ridiculous because the royal wedding being shown to the world is kind of them showing them them showing us their culture, and that's fair for them. But I think as South Africans and people that are different, we need to then also show our culture, which is cool because of the shows that they have, so that we can fight that and we can instill different values, which is different to that.
How do we continue to celebrate our culture and our heritage through marriage, Kopano, in terms of what you wear, in terms of the food, because it's a thing, right? You never invite people,
no, you don't. I think for me, financially, one wedding makes more sense than two.
Yeah.
I don't see why you can't have your dress being a traditional dress with a bit of, with the ball gown feel. I don't see why you shouldn't be able to merge, you know, all of that into one wedding day that celebrates Sakwalona, you know, the slaughtering of the cow, all of that. I don't see why it has to be separated out into two things. That's the first question that I always ask. Why do you have to spend money on two weddings? And like Kayise is saying, people come to the wedding to say, "You, the bride was fat. You, the food was this." Who did you say?
They've got their very own checklist of negative.
And so why play for them?
Right.
Like why play the game?
Right.
You know.
Quiteria, when we talk about traditional garb or traditional attire, I'm sure you, okay, let me not say I'm sure because I'm not sure, but when we talk about beads, from the beads you wear to the dress that you wear, everything has a sense of symbolism. How important is it that we actually celebrate that? Because, you know, with the bride, there's certain beads that you wear. If you're not, you know, a missus, you don't wear those beads, and it's different.
Yeah. I mean, for us at Quiteria and George, we did it with a lot of brides. But what we've sort of learned is that the bride today is different from, I think, my mother's, you know, generation. So I think what is important now, they set their own trends. Brides come with their own concepts, they're setting their own trends. They're saying, this is how I want to be received, and this is what I want to present. So it's not necessarily about the type of beads anymore. It's not necessarily about, oh, you're not allowed to wear a veil, or you're not allowed to wear It's purely, you know, based on the client's, I think, requirements.
Quiteria, actually, you know, you're actually raising a valid point, because we get so many brides who bring a picture of a dress they've seen from the likes of a Meghan, you know, who will say, whether the body type is the same, whether, you know, they just want to look like her.
But that's where we come in. It has to be realistic also.
You know, that's where now I'm actually kind of asking myself, are they really creating trends then? Because they're all trying to look the same.
I think the reason why you even go and consult with the designer is to get their perspective in terms of the body type. Will this dress suit me? Will the silhouette be okay for me? You know, are the colors going to, you know, blend in together? So you help the bride through the journey to realize and understand
of
that particular.
So you know how best.
It's the science of making clothes.
I'm sorry. A lot of talk has been given on Meghan. What about him?
What about him?
What kind of suit is he wearing?
Oh, no.
Should he shave? Should he not shave? No, can we ask the real questions, guys? You know, is he going to wear a bow tie? You know what I mean?
What are you interested in seeing from?
I don't know. I want to see a nice English fitted. I don't know. He could maybe like accent, you know.
He's a bit of a rebel. We're hoping
he's a free spirit.
He's a very okay. Let me not
because he never used to have a beard, and now he's going for that zaddy beard.
Hashtag beard gang.
Exactly. You know.
I think we expect him to wear that
traditional
that
red
soldier
and
thing. The regalia. With
royal.
But I mean, he could go
for the groom. I'm so sorry. We're all
that's why I'm here, just trying to represent, you know, for those that have forgotten.
With so much talk about everything else, we're forgetting that these two people are at the center of this. Ultimately, these people are in love, and I think that's the most beautiful thing about this. You know, they weren't arranged or anything like that. I don't know. Do they do arranged marriages in
Well, not officially.
But either way, I mean, you know, there's so much that's unscripted and unorthodox. You know, everything is really authentic. It's just that we all have something or two to say about it.
A final, a final question, and I'll get ideas from everybody. Quiteria, what do you buy someone who has everything? If you were invited to the wedding, what gift would you have bought?
Sure. First, you have to send me an invite. I think the gift would be me being there.
We don't do invites.
Yeah, but I mean, you have everything. I can just be there just to give you my support. Because whatever that I buy, it won't be as good as what you'd actually, you know, get for yourself. Right. So, if you invite me, my presence and to acknowledge and to be a witness to your union,
that's a gift in itself. Kopano?
I think in their case, one of those vouchers where you've contributed to a charity in their name.
Vouchers.
Because really, people are paying for their wedding, so let's give back.
Right, and they're big on charity.
So one of those, you know, things that people are doing now, instead of having a birthday party, I contributed to a charity.
Right, right.
You can just, maybe that.
Something that actually matters. Altaaf?
Wow, I actually have no idea. What
a
would
joke or two, maybe during, you know, something.
Go for it while I can get out something, because what do you give somebody?
You know what, guys? I just think, you know, all these things at the end of the day don't really matter. Yes, they give us the joy and the celebration of the day, but really, ultimately for me, I think what matters is the marriage after. Will they have a lasting marriage? Will they,
the real stuff.
You know, will it be filled with all the love and the joy and all these fancy things that we envision for them? So, I mean, I wish them the best.
And that's where we'll park our royal discussion. Thank you very much for coming through this morning, guys. That was fashion designer Quiteria Kekana, our perfect wedding producer Kopano Gelman, presenter Kayise Ngqula, and comedian Altaaf Sayed. And that's where we leave it.